Megan Hicks of Iron Far, and I'm here in Healdsburg, California with Emily Harrison. We're a couple days before the 2016 Lake Sonoma 50 mile. Hey.
Hi, Megan.
How are you doing?
Pretty well.
You just rolled in.
We did. Yep, probably about 45 minutes to an hour ago.
So you made it a whole family road trip. You, Ian, the dogs.
We did.
Full shenanigans from Arizona.
Yep. Everybody's here.
This is your second trip to Lake Sonoma, is that right?
It is. Yeah, I ran it in 2014.
You were the women's champion that year. I mean, you had a great day. What brings you back?
I think, well, I like the course.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's definitely up and down, but it's nice single track, and I think that kind of suits me, so I like that. And also the competition. So, I mean, historically, it's always competitive. So, for some reason this year, the bug just struck me, and I was like, I want to go back and see what I can do again.
When did that hit you? When did you sort of tune into Lake Sonoma and start training for it?
It kind of came on the radar actually just earlier this year, so it really wasn't too planned out. My first plan was I got into the lottery for Mountain 100, which is in May.
Yeah.
So I started working back from there, and I was like, I wonder if Sonoma would fit in there or not. And then it's like I wanted to do it, but I wanted to make sure it fit as well. So I talked to Ian, and we figured go for it. So didn't start transitioning to trails though again until February.
Yeah, because you were training for the Olympic marathon trials before that.
Yeah, and that was also a shortened training cycle, so I only had about 8 weeks to hit that and try to get ready for marathon. So that was really rushed as well. I mean, everything went well, but I just wasn't in tip-top shape for that going into it because we found out the standards changing and everything. That's why I got in last minute. But, you know, I knew that this was on the radar, and I figured there'd just be good lead-up anyway. I'd be working on my fitness, and then I felt I had more time to transition onto the trails compared to 2014 when I was coming off ComSet 50K, so a little bit more wiggle room there to get a little more trail time.
So you kind of have a situational comparable this weekend. Caitlin Smith, who's one of the other women's favorites for the weekend, she also ran the trials. You also raced against her last year at the 50K Trail National Championships, and now the both of you have transitioned to back to the trails and train for 50 miles. Talk to me about your training. Like, you're several years into your ultra career now. There have been some pretty high highs and some challenges. Let's call them lows for you. What have you taken forward into this training cycle?
What's been nice with this year and these past 2 training cycles is that I'm feeling good again during them. Last year, you know, even when I lined up with the 50K championships in Tamalpa, I was kind of like, didn't really do a lot of specific training for this. My long runs really weren't there, so I was a little bit worried about my endurance, but I mean, I was feeling okay on shorter stuff. So now I've been able to put in a little bit more volume. My weekly volume's been higher, and some back-to-back long runs, and just long runs in general, which were kind of missing from the plan the past year or so. So that's confidence boosting to me, and I feel good. So that's all encouraging. And my workout times are kind of getting back into those ranges where I like to see those numbers and feel good and feel strong. Yeah, you know, you start cutting down during a workout instead of just being like, oh, I'm struggling. So all that is positive to me. I don't know, you know, hasn't been a ton of time under my belt with that sort of training system again, but I'm still happy with where that's progressing.
Let me ask you a little bit about that. Like, as long as I've known you as a trail ultra runner and as a road ultra runner, you've been struggling with various health issues, like trying to get your nutrition down to putting foods in your body that your body reacts to. Where are you at with that now?
Yeah, last year was a big turning point. I guess starting in 2013, end of that year, I did it was end of 2014, sorry. I did a elimination diet, so I figured out a lot with that. So I figured out corn was a really big trigger for me based on that, which is really hard because it's in basically everything and every nutrition product that you feel with during long events. So that's been hard, and I think I'd find a nutrition product I could use, and I'd find out it was a hidden ingredient. It's like, oh, dang it, no wonder my stomach's still bothering me. And then I did a food sensitivity test last spring, which was another step to the puzzle, and I figured out some more things I didn't realize I was reacting to.
I
think examples, like random things like carrots were on there. I was like, I never had a problem, I thought, eating a carrot. And I think garlic is another big one, which is also hard to avoid. So there's a whole list, and they kind of moderate it based on how reactive you are or not. And some things I definitely knew, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. Like the corn was on there again. And beef, I know for many, many years I can't do that.
Okay.
So it kind of reconfirmed some things, but it really just helped me dial in where I was headed. And I think I've finally come out of that slump. My body's finally happier.
You're not putting things into it that it doesn't like.
Right.
How does that inform your race nutrition? Because some fairly basic things that are found in lots of foods.
Right.
So what are you feeling with yourself with?
So this is still a work in progress, as I always say. It's always progressing. Yeah. So I've been bouncing around a lot of ideas with Meredith Terranova, and she's helped me a lot. So we kind of have a game plan this weekend to try. This will be the first time I've implemented this, but basically I'm going with Honey Stinger Original gels, and then the natural sodas that are just cane sugar based. And those seem to sit really well on me, so I mean, it's kind of weird when I open a 6-pack of soda and I'm like, I'm probably going to drink all this during the race, but if it works, it works. So that's where we're headed. And then for the 100-mile, we'll look at adding in some more bulkier foods, a little bit more substance to them.
Like real food.
Real food.
Solid.
More solid, something like that.
Yeah, so April, and you're going to run a 100-mile next month. Are you just hoping that you'll be able to get through this weekend, bounce back, and do a little bit more training?
Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully come off. I mean, I'll race how I need to race tomorrow or on Saturday and see how it plays out. But, my recovery's been a lot better lately, too, and I just seemed to, I came off the marathon. Obviously, it wasn't a great marathon for me, but I still came off that pretty well. And I'm hoping that recovery trend still continues. Obviously, I'll take the time I need. But it doesn't seem to wreck me as much, just energy-wise, and so fingers crossed. And then the plan will be to go out to Virginia early, and then hopefully spend some time on the course over a few days and preview the whole course.
Got it. Well, last question for you. Some of these ultra courses in California are really unique in that there's a lot of elevation change, but the terrain is pretty darn runnable, like not super technical stuff. Watching you race this two years ago, it seemed like you were just attacking every time there was a hill, uphill. Do you have, now that you've had that experience, what parts of the terrain this weekend are really going to suit you, and where are you going to go for it?
Yeah. I think the uphills still tend to naturally just be where my strength lies. So if I'm feeling good and everything, I won't be afraid to kind of use the uphills to make ground. And then I think the downhills is where I really need to focus, though, on trying to make ground, because a lot of times I tend to settle and I'm not as confident on the downhills, so I think I lose some time there. So hopefully, and I've had some good downhill running sessions in general that were kind of encouraging to me in terms of just how my body felt and my confidence factor. So we'll see. I mean, again, I wouldn't say that's my strong suit, but I'm trying to work on it.
That's where I'll be the most focused.
But I think the biggest thing for me is going to be trying to run that second half stronger. And if I can stay on top of my fueling, that's going to be the key.
Okay. Well, right on. Best of luck to you,
Thank
and we
you.
look forward to seeing you out there this weekend.
Should be fun. Great.